Hey, gents, and welcome to another episode of Marvel Future Fight. Today, we are talking about Doctor Doom. All right, let's jump right into this. So, I finally T3 Doctor Doom and kind of got it upgraded. It was almost a necessity simply because, yeah, Doctor Doom was his dailies is up pretty much. So, like, I got to get this ranking event to get my Doctor Doom, going. Now, I don't think we got the Doctor Doom that we wanted in terms of costumes, but I think we got the Doctor Doom that we wanted in terms of power. Now, it's a little weird that we got this costume, which is Doctor Doom 3099. It's a little weird because we already had Doctor Doom 2099, not as a costume, but that's the kind of what we know. Like, this uniform is supposed to be inspired by the 3099. I'm not sure what the deal there is, because if you look at the 3099 Doctor Doom, the 2099 Doctor Doom, excuse me, yeah, he ain't looking too much difference in terms of what we got. This is Doctor Doom from Marvel Heroes Omega from back in 2016, my man. 2016 by Gazillion. It was a fun, exciting game. Nevertheless, we got this inspired Doctor Doom 3099, and they're calling it 3099. I wonder if it's like some kind of licensing rights to the Doctor or something like that. I think we were all expecting God Emperor Doom. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you know what I am talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. Even Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 for the Nintendo Switch had them. Too bad they didn't give Marvel Ultimate Alliance for some of the other consoles or for the PC. Why? I don't understand why. But God Emperor Doom was this was like almost pinnacle power for Doctor Doom. So I think a lot of people were expecting that, especially for his T3 and for as long as my man's been around in the game. I think we were all expecting that. I mean, think about it. In God Emperor Doom during Secret Wars back in 2015, dude literally became a god and was like, you know what? This shit's beneath me. He became a god and literally was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm gonna move on. I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, like, if you look at the power of Doctor Doom, he had Thor's on their ass. He had Strange, Fantastic Four, Marvels on their asses. Like, I mean, Doom was Doom. Like, it's just crazy. So it's a little weird because I'm seeing 2099, and I gotta tell you guys, I am absolutely loving Doctor Doom. I think that in terms of representation of his powers and things like that, I think we got what we wanted. We got what we needed. Right now, outside the event, I'm not doing so hot in terms of number. I'm kind of like in the 1500s. Like, I got some stuff going on. I don't know. Let's. I mean, my rewards right here ain't gonna be looking too hot, but I did what I could. Like, I mean, right now with most of these players inside here, they're like, they're yoked out on their Dooms, Odin's blessings and things like that. I don't really have Odin's blessings like that. The biggest comparison I can make to Odin's blessings and stuff like that would be like if they, for Marvel Future Revolution, would be like if they like made up some like really special battle badge or cores or something like that to equip. I'm not sure, but yeah, I wasn't too happy about that. So this is about as high as I can get. Let's take a look at my Doctor Doom, and then we'll go into some character information about this character. So it's really funny, right? Because when you click on details, or rather, excuse me, this about right here, you can kind of find out more about the character, what they are, like info, like whether or not. So for instance, this Doctor Doom is a supervillain. He's got the pure evil status, and he's got the magic ability, Oblisa status. Obviously, they said that he's recommended position as the leader, and he's a damage dealer. So you see how you're gonna do that or whatever. And then they've got a little blurb here. Now this is the same blurb that they've always had for Doctor Doom. It's a little weird. So like, the reason why I say that is weird for Doctor Doom specifically in that regard is because if they're basing it, I know this isn't supposed to be Doctor Doom in terms of like 2099, but that would be the closest representation. I mean, come on, I've showed you the pictures already. I showed you the similarities. It's a little weird, right? It's a little weird. So like I don't know, for some reason I'm biased for villains. I love villains. You see my channel and you see what I am there. I love some of the greats like Darkseid and Thanos. Doom is definitely up there. God Eternal, oh my god, my man Victor Von Doom has done some shit in his time in the Marvel Universe. Specifically this Doctor Doom 2099. I mean, when you look at the history of that character, this is not the Doctor Doom that, you know, you're normally used to. You know, your green and black, your green and brown Doctor Doom right here. And what I mean by that is Doctor Doom 2099 was an alternate version of the Earth 616, which is the main Marvel continuity universe. And somehow this alternate version, Doctor Doom, ended up in Latveria, like in 2099, with very little of his memories, and he was no longer seated on the throne. He wasn't the, you know, the king, the dictator, the lord of Latveria. He was deposed by this dude, and I can't remember what the dude's name was. And basically, Doom goes back in there. He fights back for his powers, and he makes this suit right here with the help of some gypsies, right? So he basically reinvented himself, gave him neurotechnology and some nanotechnology, and was like, yeah, I'm Doom. And then he went and beat this dude's ass and was like, this is my throne, bitch. And what you end up having after that is Doctor Doom's like, you know what, dude, I think I should just take over the world and it'll probably be better. The funny part about Doctor Doom is that when you read through that series, 2099 series, I highly suggest it. It's weird because Doctor Doom doesn't exactly come across like a villain. You know what I mean? Like, he's the villain you want to root for, you know? Like, I don't know about you, but I was definitely rooting for him in that. I mean, think about it this way. The X-Men were being persecuted. Dr. Doom was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to make you dudes the enforcers of this area and stuff like that or whatever. You're going to have these powers. He had all these evil corporations that were trying to depose him. You know what? Dr. Doom was like, I'm going to take care of all you motherfuckers and get rid of you. And genuinely, the people weren't displeased with, you know, his rule. The funny part about Dr. Doom is, like, you know, we've got Mr. Fantastic as the maker, and he's the evil. And there's always been this debate. I think Comics Explained did a really good one about it, where it was like, you know, who's more evil, Dr. Doom or Mr. Fantastic? Because, like, Mr. Fantastic be fucking some shit up. Meanwhile, Dr. Doom is like, there's actually timelines where you can see Doom in control, and even though he's like, you know, the dictatorial leader, he's not like making people's lives bad. He, like, I hate to say it, but he just wants to see the power, and that's it. But he's not exactly like making people's lives bad. People are actually flourishing, and there's a utopia underneath Dr. Doom. And specifically inside this 2099 story, it's kind of weird because if you look at a lot of his actions, he's basically unifying the world. It's weird. It's really, really weird. But, like, so he's like the kind of dude that you want to root for. My Dr. Doom is, you know, 1500. I did what I could, really. I've equipped some, you know, energy attack, Uru inside here. I've equipped some, you know, HP and some recovery rate, specifically because Dr. Doom is gonna need it. Meaning, you know, like, there's 130. I've got most of his stats all maxed out. This is a good point to illustrate for some of the Marvel Future Revolution players, because if you look at these numbers and these stats inside here, if I had to wager a guess, I am going to highly assume that in Marvel Future Revolution there are stat caps as well. Like, I think somebody had already been doing some of the math work, and it looks like there is some similarities in terms of stat capping. Even like on critical rate, I think somebody hit 75. Well, typically inside Marvel Future Revolution, that's where we're going. I've got my Doom kind of maxed out across the board on stats. I want to max out recovery rate if I can. We'll see what happens, but I'm working on it. His skill set is just amazing. This uniform that they have given him, it literally makes Dr. Doom a beast. So basically, like, inside Marvel Future Revolution, you have a debuff thing as well, but inside here, it plays in effect more. It's like a leadership ability. And for Dr. Doom, anytime he removes a debuff, he gives himself a buff, where all the damage, we don't, in Marvel Future Revolution, you don't typically see that in terms of characters having support passives or leadership abilities and stuff like that. There are activated abilities, right? Meaning, like, you know, Doctor Strange can activate certain skills of the Touch of Ashanti or this that either give him defensive boost in stat or attack stats. But overall, there's no passivity stats that Doctor Strange gets more so over than other characters unless it's listed inside his passive traits, right? So he has a list of specializations in his passive traits. There's no specialization inside Marvel Future Fight. So you basically accept the same thing inside, like, you know, it would be the similitude of having an active trait inside your specialization Marvel Future Revolution. That's where you would have like these uniform effects and some of these passives like that Doctor Doom gets. Basically look at it that way. I can equip 4 active traits inside Marvel Future Revolution, and I can equip and I can level up a number of passive traits. But the active traits is basically what it here, and you can kind of see, right? It's like active ability, passive, still the same shit. So overall, and then you can kind of tell, like with the character too, they have a specific, you know, leadership ability to them, or a thing that drives them. Like with Doctor Strange, it really seems like there's a cooldown reduction ability for him, you know, like, hey, clearly we know Doctor Strange's skills are really high, but we need to be able to pull them shits down so that way we can cast more of them and cast them going on the fly. So the other thing I did with my Doctor Doom is I put a brilliant CTP of authority. Doctor Doom is going to be another one of those characters where it's just like, god dang that Marvel, can you please, for the love of God, you did it inside Marvel Future Revolution. So for instance, inside Marvel Future Revolution, you're able to have 1, 2, and 3, you know, equipable gear, you know, variations of your character, whether they're battle badges or costumes and things like that. You can equip, you know, multiple of them inside Marvel Future Fight. We've been begging for this because, for instance, and I really think that they're shooting themselves in the foot because, you know, like for instance, Doctor Doom, I have a brilliant CTP of authority, a CTP, and I really rode for this one. So I got this from the craft event, which I got lucky in. It was awesome. But I got this from there, and I immediately went. I was like, yo, I got to get this to decrease all damage received by 60%. And I did that. This is pretty much maxed out. Like the highest that you could go for critical damage is 51.8, and I'm at 45.2. So, I mean, there's no reason for me to do anything. But a CTP of authority is typically seen as a it's a PvP custom gear. So when you look at Doctor Doom inside PvE and you want to wager him there, you're looking at basically like you're hindering him a little bit. How much is the question? I don't know really how much, but if you look at my event status, I basically got that brilliant CTP from here. I also got a mighty CTP of authority from there. It was crazy because I did this on like within the first 5 rolls, and I got this on day 3, and then I got a greed from the dimension chest. Now I'm just like overloaded with blue frost ice creams, or whatever the fuck they are. Frost ice creams and these right here. And the screwy part is these chests can only be opened up 12 per day or some shit like that. So anyways, getting back to Doctor Doom, the only thing that I've kind of missed out on here is I don't have a way to, you know, enhance these materials on him. I'm kind of running out of gold, so I don't really want to be like, yeah, I'm gonna just invest but so much anymore. This is really hard. Doctor Doom has cost me a lot of he's cost me a lot, I'm gonna say that much. Yeah, my boy was definitely I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that he wasn't worth it, but yeah, I'm gonna need some of that back, Doom. Like you can see even here, watch, I'm gonna fail this. I already know I'm gonna fail it. Boom, failed. Like my boy's expensive. I was working on 370,000 gold. I am down to probably about 103,000, which is just ridiculous. So and the messed up part too is for enhancing, you can't do a type enhancement ticket for natural tier 2 characters, so it doesn't really work for him for that. So I've got his Power of Angry Hulk set. Inside this game, these ESO 8 sets would be the equivalent, I guess, of equipping cosmic cores or the cores inside Marvel Future Revolution. And like I said, I got that brilliant CTP of authority, but I would love to be able to equip him with something else like a rage or a CTP of energy. I think those are probably the other 2 that's really beneficial to him if you were going to use him in PvE. But it would be great if we had 1 and 2 slots, and I think a lot of players probably would invest more money in the game and play those things if you could like equip multiple slots, because obviously I'm gonna shit my pants if I get a brilliant CTP of authority and then use a character like Doctor Doom inside World Boss and be like, hey, yeah, here we go. and I've got his uniform pretty much completely maxed out. I never understand some of the uniform options that they go with, but we basically got Iron Fist as one. That's not a bad option because Iron Fist's costume is relatively new. We've got X-23. Who the fuck is using X-23? I could only get this up to legendary because she's got a newer uniform. It would probably preferable to that one, but of course they're trying to sell this old uniform. The problem with Marvel Future Fight, and I hope this doesn't bleed over into Marvel Future Revolution, is that you have uniforms that basically become unusable. And so, like, you know, X-23's previous uniform is, for all intents and purposes, unusable. There's nothing I could do with it once this new uniform is released. Like, a transmog system or something like that would probably be great. You know, like, this uniform looks pretty cool. I just didn't purchase it because I don't play as X-23. Like, that's just the truth of it. Like, even when I look at her skills and stuff like that, she didn't get any awakenings or anything like that. So I was like, well, fuck do I need her for? So it wasn't a uniform that I needed to purchase, and that's typically the way I approach characters. Like, if I'm not playing you and you're not a character that I'm, you know, bonded to, nah, I'm good on you. And then we had Moon Knight, which is a good costume for him, and so it was pretty decent. But then we had X-Men Jean Grey Red. I think more players would have probably preferred Marvel Girl, but I think a lot of players are still playing with X-Men Red Jean Grey. And then we had Red Hulk Symbiote of Vengeance. Not exactly sure why that one was chosen option. Is a pretty dope ass looking uniform. I definitely went with it and purchased it just because of how amazing it looked to me. I Ghost Rider fucking head on him. So like when I look at the character overall, I'm pretty pleased with it, and I definitely like the power of Doom. Let's take a look at some of his skills real quick. He's got a litany of skills here, and when I looked at them, I was trying to figure out, you know, what the rotation was myself. So I went around to like look at like Cynic Alex's videos, Beast Mode. I haven't watched Godzillinator's video yet, but like, so if you look at his first skill, it's giving him a nice frenzy buff, increase all attacks and defense by 30, 6, and 10. So that's a pretty nice buff. You're probably going to want to activate that at some point. His second skill doesn't really do anything, so it's not a whole lot of reason to use that ability, especially probably inside PvE, probably inside PvP, but not PvP. And then you go into his third ability, where we always kind of know 3, 4, 5, 6 skills is going to be used. He gets a all decrease of all defenses, so you're getting that 45% ignore immunity, and then he's getting increased attacks and damage accumulation. So you're going to be popping this skill quite a bit because he's getting total true damage accumulation regardless of defense and dodge rate stats. So just activating it is going to give you that true damage, so you're going to want to do it. And then on his fourth skill, we also have another defensive buff stacking all the way up to 55%. All right, so you're basically balancing between this stack to fill your cup. 45 and 55 makes 90, something like that, right? And then you basically roll into skill 5, where he gets a 50% recovery of max HP. So you definitely want to be looking at that skill because, yeah, 50% recovery HP is nice. And then rolling into his T3 skill, you can see that he's basically a 5% decrease of all defenses. So he's stacking all the way up to 70% ignores immunity. That's pretty goddamn nice. And then he's also ignoring target's dodge rate by 70%. So against a character like Null and Mephisto, this is going to be pretty damn good because he has an innate buff on that 6th skill for 70%. And then you're getting an increase of damage by 70% for one attack. That's pretty damn good too. And 100 increased charge rate of accumulate true damage. So it was really cool because I looked at Cynic Alex's video, and I think he had probably like the best. I think it was like, you know, open with one would basically give you that boost stat, and then he rotated into 5, so you went 1, 5, or 4. So 1, 5, or 4, depending. I guess you would roll 1, 4, and then 3, and then 6, or 1, 5, 4, 3, 6. So and let's see how that's gonna look. So with Marvel Future Revolution, it's a little bit different because you can't cancel out of skills, so you don't really have to ever worry about that. But inside Marvel Future Fight, you do, meaning like, you know, here we go, I can see when the buffs and things like that take effect inside the skill. So if you look up here in the left hand column, you'll be able to see, so right at the opening of the skill, one takes effect automatically right away, so I can cancel out of this skill immediately. So I go into 1, and then let's say I go into 5. So when I cast 5, you're looking for when the buffs actually happen. So like, so in this one, it's going to be, you know, applying buffs to a target, right? So I want to see inside here of when the buff actually takes effect. So nothing happens until the missile launcher shows up. So you need that missile launcher to show up before you cancel, meaning that if I go inside here and I press 5 and then I cancel out of that, I'm probably going to miss out on those buffs, right? You can see I automatically went into 4 from there, but I didn't get the 4 actually activated. So watch this. So we go 5, I'm going to let the missile take off, and then I'm going to go into 4 so that way I actually get the effects of it. You see that? So it's like different, but as opposed to if I just automatically hit 5 and then just cancel right into 4, I miss out on 5, right? It didn't happen. There was no damage, right? So 5 for a delay, right? Because it's gonna hit me, then 4 to open up, and then I can roll into 6, right? But I don't want to roll automatically into 6 because then I'm just losing out on that true damage accumulation. We want that sucker, right? So let's go. I guess depending on how you do this, like my T3 is not available, so I'd probably go 1, 3, 5, and then let damage happen on 4. All right? I think that's how he did it. And then I would basically change that up once the T3 is ready. 1, 5, 3, and then go 6. And let the whole 6 play out, because like I think one of the things he noticed is that all that damage is happening on 6. Now pay attention to about something that's styled inside this game. So for instance, if you're in camera mode 1 inside Marvel Future Revolution, you'll see some animations happening, right? But if you're inside Marvel Future Fight, you literally have to go inside your menu and you have to take off the animations. Taking off the animations basically is going to help you out, because a lot of times this is going to mess up your proc rotation, so that way because you're not seeing them, so it's going to mess up with your camera. I don't think it necessarily messes up with Doom so much, but beware that it does have that ability to do it. It really does. So the thing that really has me excited about seeing like Dr. Doom inside this game is I'm hoping to God we get a character like Dr. Doom inside Marvel Future Revolution. The ability for them to have it there is basically like, you know, willy-nilly. They can do that anytime, because when you look at the convergence events, having the difference between a villain and having the difference between a hero, or a hero who's a villain and a villain who's a hero, totally plausible, right? I could have a Thanos who's, you know, a good guy inside, you know, Marvel Future Revolution, and who's a bad guy. Like for instance, when, well, I don't want to give away a story, so I'm gonna leave that alone. But when you play through story modes of those things, you can already see some of those things kind of happening, where you have good guys being bad guys being good guys. I'm not gonna spoil a story for anybody. That's not what I want to do. So and I refuse to be that guy. So if you notice, I haven't posted any videos at all of that yet. So let's jump real quick. I want to show you guys, and this is gonna help the Marvel Future Revolution kind of audience. Let's jump into World Boss. We're gonna do, so you have 2 World Boss legends, and you have Mephisto, who's pretty damn good at giving you your normal, you know, items and stuff like that. And then you have Null. I like using Null when I need to get books, and I like using Mephisto when I just want to play for real quick, because he seems to be easier to beat. Now, I am no way a difficulty hunter, meaning I'm not trying to go. You basically only need to do up to 2. The reason why you don't do 1 is because it has ensnare tornadoes and stuff like that, and it just makes it a pain in the ass. So I usually just do 2, and I'm staying there because the rewards at 2 are the same as they are at the higher levels. As long as I can get CCF, Essence of Dimension, your tier 3 level materials, I'm perfectly fine with that. I think I set up this new team where I basically had Corvus as a 40% increase of an energy attack, hitting Dr. Doom, only because guess what? Dr. Doom don't have Victorious here for him to, you know, piggyback off of. I'm pretty sure I'll probably end up changing some of my teams. I'll do another video about my teams for these modes though. So let's set that, and then we'll just basically use, I don't even know. My teams that I use for allies, I never really care what the fuck they are, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. Let's do this just in case. We'll put Venom just in case. Now, obviously, I'm not going to get any rewards because I already played the mode 5 times today before I started making these videos. But let's see how Doom performs with a CTP of authority. For me, I just play the characters that I have fun with. So if I have fun with the character, as long as he can do the modes, like I said, I'm not trying to grind all the way up to level 20s, level 39s and stuff like that. I'm just trying to, you know, have fun with the game as much as possible. 1, 5. I messed that up because I forgot the 3. So let's go 1, 3, 5. Wait for that. Jesus, he's still not going. Let's see if he... Oh shit! So when he usually spawns like this, oh you bitch. Whatchamacallit will summon these. I guess Doctor Strange just summon these sigils, and you basically have to collect the sigils. Now, typically, I don't have to wait that long to just open up for the next attack, but I think it's because Dr. Doom is doing so much chain hit damage that is causing the issue. So we'll go 1, 3, 5, 4, and then straight into 6. And there goes the numbers going down. You can see, god dang it, I hate when he does that. So there you go. So Dr. Doom hitting that 3 on him like, yo, bro, you ain't got nothing for me. So all the damage accumulate on that 6 skill. So 1, 3, 5. Wait for the missile launch, and then we'll go right into 4. Didn't get enough damage on that. 1, 3. Oh shit. 5. Kind of fucked that one up for sure. That rotation I messed up heavily. So he's gonna go into his rage right now. This is cool. Inside his rage, he didn't go into it. There we go. So all right, now he's in his rage. Same thing. Sigils have to pop out. He's gonna chase you down. You collect all the sigils, and he's gonna be open for damage now. So now we're just gonna go into this 1, 3, 5, missile 4, and 6. And look at all that juicy damage. So he's enraged again. 1. There we go. So all you gotta do is be careful from him. This is a lot harder with some of the slower characters, but like Odin's pretty damn slow, but I can still do it with him. 1, 3, 5, 4. Don't have anything up right now. I'm not getting like a lot of damage on 4. I wonder if I'm doing something wrong with it. Jesus, he is hitting me. Let's get back over here to this. There we go. Pick up these. And trust me, I'm showing you guys this way because I'm a scrub dude. I ain't even ashamed to say it. And, you know, I'm not ashamed to say it at all. So like, I'm not the greatest player here, but I want to show you guys what the average player might expect inside this game. Now, you know, Dr. Doom is a very expensive character, so I don't think any like new beginner players are necessarily acquiring Dr. Doom. You have to do quite a bit in order to just acquire the biometrics to unlock him. But I'm going to tell you right now, I agree with most of the player base that's in the game right now, the YouTubers and everything. Dr. Doom is God tier level on a whole nother status. He is miles above any of the other characters. If you wanted to use him in Alliance Conquest, like I was using CTP of Authority on him there, and I'm pretty sure he can go way higher than that. But you want to use him in PvP timeline and stuff like that, you can. Yeah, Dr. Doom is a beast. So I would definitely invest some time in trying to level him up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We've got more to come. Until next time, peace.